In the days when Israel had no king, and the land was a patchwork of tribes scattered like sheep without a shepherd, evil rose like a storm on the horizon. The people of God, once delivered from Egypt with a mighty hand, had again turned their hearts toward the idols of the nations around them. They bowed to lifeless stones. They sought blessings from wooden images. They forgot the one who split the sea and fed them with bread from heaven. And so, the Lord gave them into the hands of Eglon, king of Moab, a man whose shadow stretched long over the land. His armies swept through the valleys like locusts, plundering the fields, seizing the towns, and binding the strong men in chains. The Moabites, joined by the Ammonites and the Amalekites, crossed the Jordan and claimed the city of palms. For 18 long years, Israel groaned under the weight of oppression. Eglon was a man of great girth, a symbol of indulgence and greed, his banquet tables heavy with food taken from the hands of the poor. He ruled with cruelty, crushing any who dared to rise against him. His throne room was a place of fear, where whispers died in the air and no man lifted his eyes to meet the king's gaze. But in the hill country of Ephraim, God was stirring the heart of a deliverer, an unlikely man, chosen not for his stature or might, but for the hand he wielded. His name was Ehud, son of Gera, of the tribe of Benjamin, a left-handed man in a world that valued only the right. To some, a weakness. To God, the perfect weapon. The people cried out to the Lord, and he heard them. He raised up Ehud as their judge, their deliverer, and Ehud devised a plan as dangerous as it was daring. From the tribes, he gathered a tribute for the Moabite king grain, oil, silver, and gold, the offering of a defeated people. But beneath the folds of his robe, hidden on his right thigh, Ehud carried a weapon unlike any other, a double-edged sword, small and sharp, forged for one purpose: to pierce the heart of a tyrant. The day came. Ehud set out with men to bear the tribute. They traveled the dusty road toward Jericho, the city of palms, where Eglon awaited in his palace. The gates loomed tall, guarded by Moabite soldiers with hard eyes and cruel mouths. The tribute was presented, the wealth of Israel laid before their oppressor. But as the bearers turned to leave, Ehud's mind burned with the fire of his mission. At the stone idols near Gilgal, he dismissed the men who had come with him, sending them safely home. Then he turned back, alone, the weight of destiny pressing on his shoulders. He entered the palace once more and stood before the king. "I have a secret message for you, O king," Ehud said. The words were soft, but they carried the hook of intrigue. Eglon's greedy eyes narrowed. "Silence," he commanded to his attendants. One by one, the servants withdrew until only the king and the left-handed man remained. The king rose from his throne, the chamber thick with the heat of the day, the curtains drawn to keep out the sun. The air was heavy, the silence deep. Ehud stepped closer. "I have a message from God for you." In that moment, the left hand moved like a serpent striking from the shadows. From his right thigh, Ehud drew the hidden blade and drove it deep into the belly of the king. The hilt sank after the blade, swallowed by the folds of flesh, and the fat closed over the steel. Eglon's eyes went wide, a silent cry frozen in his throat. His knees buckled. His reign ended in an instant. Ehud left the sword where it lay, buried in the body of the oppressor. He stepped past the fallen king, closing the doors of the upper chamber and locking them behind him. Outside, he walked calmly, his face a mask, the guards unaware that their master lay dead. By the time the servants, puzzled by the delay, unlocked the doors, the stench of death filled the room. But Ehud was long gone, moving swiftly through the hills. When he reached the hill country of Ephraim, he blew the ram's horn, a blast that echoed through the valleys like the voice of God himself. "Follow me," he cried to the people, "for the Lord has given your enemies into your hands." The men of Israel poured out of the hills, armed with whatever weapons they could find: swords, spears, axes, even farm tools turned to instruments of war. Jordan's fords, escape denied, 10,000 dead. And so, the land had rest for 80 years. But the story of Ehud is more than a tale of blood and victory. It is a reminder that God does not measure measure deliverance by the strength of the arm or the honor of the hand. He chooses the unlikely, the overlooked, the underestimated. He takes what the world calls weakness and turns it into a weapon against evil. Ehud, the left-handed judge, walked back into the quiet hills of his home not as a hero in the eyes of men, but as a servant in the eyes of God. And in the stillness of the land, the people learned once more that their safety did not rest in kings nor in armies, but in the hand of the Lord who delivers.